We should be ashamed of ourselves to the highest degree. We should hold ourselves accountable in the same way that the Nazis were held accountable, but we're not doing that because we are the Nazis. First and foremost, before we get into the bread and butter of this stream video, pretty good looking pic. I like those shots of me. Unfortunately, the camera situation here is really like poor quality, but I can be pretty hot.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Trying to teach myself good posture so that my double chin doesn't stick out so much. Disclaimer before we get into this video, so much is going to end up happening while and after I get this video out. So this and other subjects that I'm trying to tackle right now are probably going to be updated over time. It is entirely possible that this video comes out after new information has already come out. So if that's the case, I apologize, and I will make like a short follow-up video for it, or maybe a larger one, or I'll post something in the community feed, or I'll figure it out. I'll figure something out. Next day, there are actually some updates, so I talked about them on I did a little stream earlier. I talked about them on there, and you're gonna see them now. So these are the current updates that I have currently, for, like, as it stands. I think I'm gonna probably try to get this video out soon, so I don't know if anything else is gonna come out first, but here are the updates, and then the rest of the video. State Department cancels all refugee travel to U.S. All refugee travel to the U.S. has been halted by the State Department, as has refugee processing, according to international guidance obtained by the BBC's U.S. partner CBS News. Officials have reportedly been instructed to stop the refugee referral process overseas, to pause the Biden administration program allowing private U.S. citizens to sponsor refugees. The move doesn't currently affect, by the way, sounds like censorship. Just saying. The move doesn't currently affect any special immigrant visa holders who have assisted U.S. military forces. On Monday, President Trump has sworn back into the White House. He signed executive orders suspending the U.S. Refugees Admissions Program, USRAP, saying America lacks the ability to absorb large number of migrants, and in particular refugees, into its communities in a manner that does not compromise the availability of resource for Americans. Our problems with, like, economics, as far as, like, resource management, that is an American issue. That's not an immigrant issue. That is something that we have a problem with or without immigration, be it legal, illegal, or refugees. That's just a problem that we have. It's something that we should tackle, but we're not gonna tackle because, well, a lot of reasons. Most of them are theoretical, so I'm not gonna necessarily get into it. But food deserts are a resolvable problem. Food waste is a resolvable problem. And the anti-immigration stuff that like, if they do mass deportation, if that starts, that is only going to have a negative effect on us economically. Not just because cheaper labor, but also because of the workforce. So we're going to lose, like, food prices are going to skyrocket because of that, and the tariffs. Like, that's an obvious thing. But anyways, so we are no longer allowing refugees into the U.S. I guess that's to be expected, but we are no longer doing that. And there is another thing right here. Justice Department directs prosecutors to probe local efforts to obstruct immigration enforcement. The Justice Department is directing its federal prosecutors to investigate for potential criminal charges at any state or local officials who stand in the way of beefed up enforcement of immigration laws under the Trump administration, according to a memo of the workforce obtained by Associated Press on Wednesday. The memo, written by Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, also instructs the Justice Department's Civil Division to work with the newly formed Sanctuary Cities Enforcement Working Group to identify state and local laws and policies that threaten to impede the Trump administration's immigration efforts and potentially challenge them in court. Essentially, attempting to override any state rights on the matter of immigration. 18 states sue to stop Trump's birthright citizenship order. So yay! There is at least some form of resistance to something. That's good. Is it gonna make a difference? I don't know, maybe. These kind of things are I don't know maybes. You could always hope that pressure from people in states, other people in government, at least, because I don't think people on the streets. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? The lawsuit to block the president's executive order is the first salvo in what is likely to be a long-running legal fight over immigration policy. Attorneys general from 18 states sued President Trump on Tuesday to block an executive order that refuses to recognize the U.S.-born children of on illegal immigrants as citizens, and open salvo in what promises to be a long legal battle over the Trump administration's immigration policies. The complaint filed in federal district court in Massachusetts was joined by City of San Francisco and Washington, D.C. The states view Mr. Trump's attempt to limit birthright citizenship as extraordinary and extreme, said New Jersey's Attorney General Matthew J. Platkin, who led legal effort along with the Attorney General from California and Massachusetts. Presidents are powerful, but he is not a king. He cannot rewrite the Constitution with the stroke of a pen. Well, he doesn't need to rewrite it with the stroke of a pen. He has so much pull and so much power, so much money, and so many people in the Senate and Congress and the House. Just like Washington is very MAGA'd up right now. At least very Republican heavy. And a lot of those Republicans are MAGA. So he has the real world potential of doing all of the drastic, insane stuff that he talks about doing. When you have Elon Musk sig heiling twice, how can you, and like these insane executive orders about over like trans stuff and just the way all of it's written, how can you not think, how can you genuinely in your heart not believe that things are gonna get worse? So birthright citizenship, if for some reason you don't know what that is where you have citizenship from being born. So if you're born in, if your parents are immigrants and you're born in the U.S., you're a U.S. citizen, and that's how it should be, because you're a baby. You shouldn't be like a part of those dynamics. You're a baby. The report noted that more than 291,000 accompanied migrant children had not, as of May 24th, received a notice to appear in court. Additionally, more than 32,000 accompanied migrant children got a notice to appear but then failed to show up for immigration court hearings. The report does not provide any explanations. What's happening here, from what I'm putting together, I mean, this is like honestly like a very odd subject where there's a lot of open-ended answers. There aren't really any real answers that I could find yet. America does have instances of child labor. It gets phrased as hiring children, not forcing them to work. And that's probably true to an extent. I'm going to be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist here and say that I believe that there's probably a lot of child labor in the U.S. as a consequence of human trafficking. Just the fact that, like, the subject is so open-ended in its resolves. Are these kids missing? Is it just a paperwork problem? Is it that they didn't go to court? Like, what is what? It kind of seems like it's all of the above, but I don't know, so I'm not gonna make any real statements on that, but I find it very unlikely that the American government would make it illegal to be born in the U.S. if your parents aren't from the U.S. and them not take advantage of that. I don't know if that means that they're going to do a bunch of unaliving of babies. Probably a little bit. They already do unaliving of kids at the border. Dog, they had fucking booby traps in the water where children were, and it doesn't matter if they're children or not, but like, just like, it's worse, I feel like, when they're kids, dog. Like, the little babies just don't even know what the fuck that they're doing, are getting chopped up to bits and pieces and drowning and shit in our fucking American booby traps because we're so hypersensitive to people coming to our country to try and have a better life because they like our country. I also suspect that on top of that, things might get a little bit ditty. Yeah, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I feel like a lot of those children are going to be sex trafficked. Human trafficking is a thing in the U.S. There's a little bit of a relation between Trump and Epstein, as are a lot of people of power and wealth. There's no bush to beat around, you know what I mean? And if there is, I'm not doing that on camera. Let's see. Never mind. I don't do that anymore. Ex-sex worker. Though, even if, like, those, like, my concerns were like, didn't come true in that scenario, you are still deporting and victimizing and, like, illegalizing a baby is crazy. You're basically trying to have a war on drugs, but a war on Mexican children. And I know that there's other migrants. I know it's not just Mexico, but you know they're targeting fucking Mexicans. We're not stupid. We know who they're going after. Birthright citizenship is important because even in a scenario, I feel like I went in slow motion right now. Even in a scenario where, let's say, like, it just so happened that, like, some cartel people, some, like, cartel leaders or something came in and had babies. That baby is a fucking baby, dude. It didn't do nothing, it just got born. And they're separating the parents from the babies. Where do the babies go? People sit in internment camps and concentration camps forever waiting to get put back into Mexico. And hopefully they do. Probably get assaulted while they're doing that, too. Let's talk about the hard stuff. They're probably getting sexually assaulted. Sexual abuse and sexual assault is something that happens, unfortunately, very often in all scenarios where people are captured. It doesn't matter if they're prisoners of war, if they're just people going to jail for like a couple of weeks for like a DUI or something in the U.S. If they don't even make it to jail, even if they're just detained. It doesn't matter how old they are, what their gender identity is, what their body type is. It doesn't matter. It happens in all instances, including concentration camps or detainees, detention facilities for immigrants. They're concentration camps. And by the way, just because there's 200 allegations doesn't mean there isn't 1,000 more that haven't been talked about. So birthright and citizenship is a very important thing because it at least gives the children who are being born, didn't do anything other than be born, some kind of chance at a future. Around 1,000 military personnel preparing to go to southern border. So here's another update, I guess. Around that's probably what the Fox person was saying. I just wasn't really paying attention. Around 1,000 military personnel preparing to go to the southern border. A U.S. official has said approximately 1,000 additional active duty forces are preparing to go to the southern border. This follows President Donald Trump's executive order authorizing the U.S. military to deploy as many units or members of the armed forces as needed to help the Department of Homeland Security obtain complete and operational control of the border. Trump declared national emergency on Monday, saying that America's sovereignty, fucking words, man. Sovereignty. Why? Bro, it's because I fucking hit my head a year ago and died. A near-death experience. Now I can't say words like sovereignty. So they're sending more troops, essentially, which is completely unnecessary. Abbott's razor wire is maiming immigrants. Cruelty is the point. Editorial. There's a reason Native Americans called barbed wire the devil's rope. The cool embrace of the spikes offered 19th century settlers the solution they'd be looking for to stake their claims out west. A fence that kept cattle in and undesirables out. Unsuspecting wild buffalo and longhorns often became ensnared, thrashing their bodies against the wire, not knowing that the more they struggled, the more they'd suffer if hunger or thirst didn't kill them. Infections from their festering wounds did. By the way, this is migrants that we're talking about here, and using barbed wire to trap and ensnare them. The war we're fighting now, Abbott and his cronies argue, is at our southern border, and the enemy, smugglers and organized crime, of course, but also desperate families of men, women, and children, many seeking asylum. Which is a thing, too. That's the thing, too, that people, are just choosing to ignore. Is that these are people who are just looking for livelihood. They're just looking for livelihood. They just want to live. They just want to have a life worth living, so they try and find it in another country. And we've maimed them because of it, and do other horrific shit. This includes an unsuspecting 19-year-old who became trapped in wire and writhed in pain while suffering from a miscarriage. This includes... Listen. This is talking about an illegal immigrant trying to migrate to America to have a better life for them and their child. 19 years old. That includes an unsuspecting 19-year-old who became trapped in a wire and writhed in pain while suffering from miscarriage. That's so fucked up. That's very similar to some of the shit that World War II Nazis did. A man who tried to free his child from unrelenting teeth of the razor-wrapped barrel and earned a significant laceration on his left leg. A 15-year-old boy who broke his right leg in the currents because the razor wire was laid out in a manner that it forced him into the river where it was unsafe to travel. And a 4-year-old girl caught trying to cross the wire and press back until the triple-digit heat she passed out from exhaustion. These are just a few of the disturbing images revealed in an explosive email by Nicholas Wingate as Department of Public Safety paramedic and trooper who had sounded the alarm on the inhumane directives of the Operation Lone Star. According to the emails obtained by Hearst newspapers, these directives included pushing people back to Mexico at all costs. And despite the record-breaking temperatures in border cities this summer, an order prohibiting officers from handing out water to asylum seekers. This is from 2023. We should be ashamed of ourselves to the highest degree. We should hold ourselves accountable in the same way that the Nazis were held accountable, but we're not doing that because we are the Nazis. Bye-bye.